Yo, what's good with y'all? In today's video, I got the how to make the strongest battlegrounds ultimate bar video. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, have requested this video on multiple of my the strongest battleground videos and some of my other comment videos and some of my other videos. A lot of y'all have requested it and stuff. So here I am. Before I even start the video, I just want to give a shout out to my subscribers. I did my first live stream before I did this video and stuff. Y'all came through. I appreciate all y'all, and I especially appreciate the ones that were there helping me, because they helped me fix a couple things with it that honestly I didn't even know and stuff. So I really do appreciate them. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so I know this looks like a lot, so I'm just gonna break everything down. Okay, first things first. If you don't know, the strongest battlegrounds, there are multiple spawn points, right? There's multiple places a player can spawn. So simply all you got to do is just insert a spawn location. You can insert a spawn by clicking model, then click spawn, right? Or you can just select the regular spawn and then just control and D to duplicate it, or just copy and paste it, or just like copy it then paste it and stuff. So you're going to want about 4, and then you can name each one. Make sure you do each one in numerical order, like spawn location 1 and so forth, right? Because the whole point is we want to make it so that the player will spawn at like a random spawn, right? Whenever they're switching characters and stuff. This doesn't really have to deal with the ultimate video. I mean, the ultimate bar video. This was just an adjustment I made to the script to fit exactly how the system works in the actual game itself, because someone brought it to my attention. Right, and then the animations, I believe, are R15. Yeah, they should be R15. Let me see. Yeah, the animations I use for this video are R15. This system will work for people who are using R6 animations, but if you're using R6, you need to get your own R6 animations. If you're using R15, you're good to go. Okay, and actually, you can just choose whatever animations you want. Like, you don't have to use the animation I'm using, but yeah. Okay, so moving on. Then we head on over to replicated storage. Okay, first let's knock out the remote event. Simply insert the remote event, just type remote event, click it, name it character handler event. That's simple. Then you're going to want to have 2 folders. These are going to be your character folders. Inside of each folder, you're going to have the characters, each character, right? However many amount of characters you have. And inside of the character folders, you're going to have each of your abilities, right? So to explain how this works, okay, so we have our characters and ultimate characters. Now, let me explain this. This character is pretty much essentially the same as this character. The only difference is that the abilities are different. Like, this one has an awakening sound and awakening animation, and the abilities are different because this is when the player awakens their character, right? So it's a little bit different. But pretty much you insert a folder, same thing, you insert a folder, then you would insert a folder inside of a folder, name it character 1. Inside you would insert a tool. This is a tool. You would insert a tool, and then disable requires handle. Disable requires handle, and also probably best that you disable can't be dropped, because definitely wouldn't want people, definitely want people to drop, just be dropping their tools. But anyway, oh, definitely disable actually, yeah, because people could just be using, yeah. So make sure you disable that. So you're gonna put however many amount of tools you want. Keep in mind each tool is an ability for that, you could say class or character, right? Whichever one works for you and stuff. So if you want to have 3, you can have 3. If you want to have 4, you can have 4. And then of course you name the ability. Now inside of the ability, you're going to put sound and animation. Simply, you would just type sound, and then you would just type in animation. Here you're going to put your animation ID right here. Just paste it in here, and it'll format it for you automatically. And make sure you name this animation, like make sure you name everything exactly as I'm naming, because please don't change anything if you don't know how to change it, is pretty much what I'm saying and stuff, because you could easily just make it not work. So yeah, and then for sound, you would put your sound ID here and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory. You guys can understand. You put your sound ID here, your animation ID here, and then these IDs correspond with whatever attack, because each one has its own sound effect, its own animation, and yeah. So that's it. Then for these, I just have regular skills and stuff. I just needed just placeholders, but yeah. So this is how you would do that. Now for ultimate characters is a little different, but it's pretty much the same. So you're gonna want to have your abilities, your tools, your abilities. These function exactly the same as before, right? Like, with sound and animation, these are the same. The only difference with this is in the folders is that there's an awakening sound and awakening animation, right? Because when you're using your ultimate you know, you do like a little animation like before you actually wait, let me see something real quick. Okay, I just had to, I'm sorry guys, I just had to make sure that people, you guys still hear me. Anyway, so you want to make sure that there's an animation as well as a sound, name it awakening sound and awakening animation, and this is what will play when you activate your ultimate and you switch your skill set from regular skills to ultimate skills, right? And then yeah, those are the folders. And then if you want access to this model or the scripts or whatever, you guys can become a channel member by pressing the join button next to the subscribe button, or you can become a Discord subscriber and stuff. If you want to know about that, you can just join my Discord server and then just press server subscriptions, or just ask me about that in the comments. And shout out to, I just had 2 people join. Shout out to those 2 people. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, now moving on to the last thing, the GUI. Okay, so to get the GUI, I'm not really sure why I can't really see it from here. Let me click play so you guys can see it. Okay, so for the UI, right, it's pretty simple. So if you guys know in the Strongest Battlegrounds, you know it looks pretty similar to exactly this. So I pretty much tried to replicate this as close as I could. So pretty much, let me open it up here. Or no, I don't want to confuse y'all. Let me open it up regularly. Okay, so you insert a regular screen GUI, right? You name it character selector GUI. Now pay attention here. You want to make sure it's enabled by default. Ignore GUI no set so that it ignores the barrier here and it'll, like, you know, go to the top. And you want to disable reset on spawn because reset on spawn is enabled by default. So you want to disable that, right? And then inside of the GUI, you're going to insert the drop down button. You press this to activate the character options, and then your ultimate bar, as you guys could clearly see right here. This is the ultimate bar. So to make this, because I know this kind of looks a little, might be confusing for some people, all you're going to do is insert a text label into, all you're doing is inserting a text label into the character selector GUI, right? In here, I'm going to show you guys the difference. Current means how much, the current amount that the player has filled the bar, while full is, of course, you know, like the end of the bar, like, you know what I'm saying? So here are the sizing. Here's the stuff. This is the background color, background transparency, border size, right? And then here's the size and positioning. Here's the positioning and stuff. Here's where you would put your full text bar. You would set it to this position, which is like the bottom middle of the screen, and here's the size you would set. The goal is you want to have your your y value should be the same. Like the y value should be the same. Like they should never change. The x value is what should change though, right? Because you guys can see this is 500, this is 0. I'd recommend doing something where it's like it's 1 digit and then it's just zeros after, like rather than like 550 or 555. Like I'd recommend just doing it like with zeros. It's easier to calculate. So yeah, and then once again, here's the positioning and sizing, and then here's the stuff. The background color is red and stuff, so that when it goes over, you guys will be able to, you know, notice it notably, like as it goes over. Because if I, oh well, that won't work, but you guys will see what I'm saying when I actually start when I actually show you guys, demonstrate it. Then we have the drop down button. This is the C button. You guys see right there. Here is the properties for it. Here's the position, definitely the most important thing. You want to know where to position it and the sizing and stuff. That's the positioning, right? And then here's the text property, just in case you guys were interested in that. I just made the text equal to C. And yeah, inside of the button, I put a UI corner. That's why it, like, you know, has smooth edges and stuff like that. Then inside, I have the drop down frame. So if I press the button, if I press the button, and now it's not working. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so stupid. I completely forgot. I haven't typed the script for it yet. But it's besides the point. Okay, so when I press the button, it's gonna drop down, right? So the frame is right here, right? So here's the properties for the frame. You want to set the background transparency equal to 1. Here's the position and sizing for it, right? These are the properties for the frame. You want to name this drop down frame. Inside, you're going to insert a bool value, because a lot of people have asked me, how did I get UI enabled? Just type in bool value, right? And then you're going to name it UI enabled, and by default its value should be set to false, which means there should be no check. This is how it should be, no check, right? Then you're going to insert a UI grid layout so that you can automatically organizes everything for you in order. So Here are the properties for the UI grid. I just want cell size 130 and padding 0.5 and 0.5 and stuff. And yeah, and then here are the other things if you guys were interested. And then inside you're gonna have your buttons, right? And remember, it automatically positions in sizes everything for you. So as long as you set up the UI grid layout, you can just insert as many buttons as you want and it automatically sizes it for you. So simply you insert the button, right? Now you need to be very specific with your naming here. The point is that the button should match the name of the character. The only difference should be is that at the end it should say button, because as you guys can see, it says character 1. The only difference between this, the button, and the folder is that it has the word button in it. Those should be the only difference. So say if your button is, this is named class 1, right? If the folder is named class 1, this should say class 1 button and stuff. But obviously if you're doing it like how I did it, then just do character 1 button and character 1. And then here are the properties for it: background transparency and the colors. And then like I said, the positioning and sizing is already it's controlled by the UI grid layout, so you don't have to do much. And then you just set the text, and yeah, inside of that I just put UI corners, and yeah, that's pretty much all the UI related stuff. And yes, that just covers the UI. Now to get into the actual scripting. Okay, first things first, let's take care of the local script. It's gonna be a minute, guys. It's gonna take a second. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and insert a local script into the drop down button. So inside of your button, don't put it inside the GUI, put this inside of the button. You guys can name this character selector script local, right? Then you're gonna delete print hello world. We're gonna need to make about 6 to 7 variables. First, we're gonna get the remote event. So local character handler event is equal to game.replicated storage, wait for child, character handler event, right? Then I'm going to get the user input service. So local UIS is equal to game is service user input service. Then I'm going to make a variable for the current class so that I know the current class my player has equipped. Especially it's very important for when I'm using my ultimate, so that I know, or when the player dies, so that I know which abilities to give the player back based on their current class. So local current class is by default, we're gonna make it a string value. So just do quotation marks. Oh, my fault, I forgot to put class, current class, right? Then we're gonna make a variable for the local player. So local player is equal to game.players.local player. Then we're gonna get both character folders. So local characters, make sure you do characters with like plural s, not character, is equal to game.replicated storage, wait for child, characters, and then you can honestly just copy and paste this. So Control C and then Control V, and then you can just name this ultimate characters, and then just of course change this to ultimate characters. Now we have all our variables. Let's get into it. We have about 6 functions to make. So this is going to be the function that handles whenever a player dies, so that they're given their abilities back. So I'm going to do player dot character added connect function, in parentheses put character, singular character, right? Now be very careful here. Do not put characters, put character, right? So I'm gonna say character, wait for child, humanoid, and then I'm gonna say character that humanoid that died connect function, close parentheses, enter them and do wait 0.8 seconds, because we need to have a little delay before we give the abilities. So then I'm going to fire the remote event. I'm going to say character handler event, fire server, died, because there's a whole different event type. Then of course I'm going to send over my current class, so I know which set of abilities, which skill set to give the player. And that pretty much handles the died function. That'll handle whenever a player dies. Moving on to the next function. This is for when a player is trying to bring up the drop menu so that they can actually select the character. So I'm going to say script that parent that mouse button one click connect function close parentheses, then enter, and I'm going to say if script that parent drop down frame that UI enabled that value is equal to false, which means it is not enabled. Then I'm going to of course do the opposite and set the value equal. I'm going to set the value equal to true, because it is now currently enabled. So UI enabled that value is set to true, right? Then I'm going to use a for i v in pairs loop, to animate the buttons appearing. So I'm gonna say for I comma v in pairs. We're gonna use a lot of these in these scripts, so be ready to type a lot of these. I'm gonna say script dot parent dot drop down frame get children. And I'm gonna press enter, and I'm gonna do if v is a text button, because remember it should be a text button. Then I'm gonna set up the tween. So I'm gonna do local tween, and I forgot to set up the tween service. My fault, guys. I forgot a variable. So go up here, press enter after the user input service, and you're gonna put local ts, which is game kid service tween service. That's how we're gonna animate it. My fault, guys. The local tween is equal to ts create v tween info dot new. As for the duration, we're gonna say 1 second, comma enum dot easing style, and I'm gonna say linear, and then of course for the easing direction, I'm going to say out, right? Then for the properties, I'm gonna do this, comma, then in quotation, not quotation marks, in special brackets, I'm gonna set the text transparency equal to 0 and background transparency equal to 0. Oh, actually, my fault. I think I showed you guys, but I don't think I actually said anything about it. Okay, so regarding these buttons, right? Another thing to note about these buttons. Okay, so I want you guys to set the text transparency right here, the text transparency, as well as the background transparency up here. By default, set it equal to 1. I think I did say this though, but if I didn't, so set these by default equal to 1. I'm going to set this to 0, which pretty much will make it visible via the script. Okay, so by default, when it's being visible. So then I'm going to say queen play. And then I think, yeah, I meant to do lowercase g. Yeah, background transparency is equal to 0. And then I'm going to use an else if statement, pretty much for it's the vice versa scenario. So else if script.parent.dropdownFrame.UI enabled value is equal to true. The great news, guys, we can copy and paste. That is the great news. So you want to just select all this, Control C and Control V, and boom. Then just change a couple things. Change this to false, and then you want to set the zeros to ones. Zeros to ones. Change this to in. And yeah, that should be it. So we're just like that. We're done with that function. It definitely saves a lot of time just copying and pasting. So then moving on to the next, setting up the function for when a player actually chooses their character, and then select a character or a skill set, or yeah, just say character. So I'm gonna use another for I v in pairs loop. So I'm going to say for I comma v in pairs script.parent.dropdownFrame. Then I'm going to say get children. Do if v is a text button, right? Then I'm going to set up the function. So I'm going to say v.mouse button, one click, connect function, right? Close parentheses, then enter. And then I'm going to use another for I v in pairs loop inside of this for I v in pairs loop. So I'm going to say for I2, comma v2. Make sure you don't get these confused. So make sure you're typing it exactly as I'm typing it. So in pairs. And I'm going to say characters get children, right? And then I'm going to press enter. And then I'm going to say if v2, not v, if v2 dot name is equal to, if v2 dot name, dot quotation marks button, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of the video, dot button is equal to v dot name. And remember, you do v2 and v. Then current class is equal to v2 dot name, right? So we can update the current class. And of course, by default, I'm going to set the UI enabled variable set the false, because it's no longer enabled, because we're going to force it to not be enabled anymore. So I'm just going to paste this here. You guys could just paste that, Control C, Control V. I'm gonna set this to false. And then I'm going to fire the remote event. So character handler event fire server, and then I'm in quotation marks, I'm going to put class selector. And then I'm also going to send over the current class, just like we did the first time. Then I'm going to use one more for I v in pairs loop. And this is simply just to close the frame. And the great thing is you can just copy and paste. You can just copy and paste it. As for which one, it was this one. Yeah, this one. So all you need to do is just do this, right? You really just need to copy and paste this. So Control C, then Control V, and boom. That's simple. We have finished with that function and we set it up. Let's go ahead and test mid thing. I don't normally do this. I normally just type. But let's go ahead and test this mid thing to make sure everything is working good so far. Okay, there you go. So it should fade in like that. Then if I click it again, it should fade out just like that, right? So it works so far. Okay, moving on to the next before I even this loop. So I'm gonna set up a skills list, right? I'm set up a table. So local skills list is equal to special brackets. This table is going to store all of the names of the skills that that the game currently has. To pretty much explain what that means, right? So we have all these characters, right? Each ability, you could call these whatever you want. You call these skills, abilities, moves, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so each character has their own skill set, right? So I'm going to put all of these names into a table pretty much. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, simply explain it. Then I'm going to use the for I v in pairs loop again. So for I comma v in pairs, then I'm going to say characters, get children, make a variable. So local skills is equal to v get children. And then I actually found a way to automate this and stuff. I know in the previous video I said you needed to put the amount of skills you had. The way I've made this is that regardless of how many skills you have, it'll automatically just add all of them stuff. So I'm gonna use a for I loop. So I'm gonna say for I is equal to 1 comma number skills. This pretty much means the number of skills, comma 1 do enter. And then I'm going to say if not, because we don't want duplicate entries. I mean, it wouldn't mess anything up, but just in general, you wouldn't want duplicate entries. So we're going to say table.find skills list. And then, of course, you're going to go with skills. Or, yeah, skills, then regular bracket I, then dot name, enter. And then pretty much you're going to do you can actually really just paste this. So you could just do Control C, Control V. The difference is just change it from table.find to table.insert. Then yeah, we're done with that one. Then go on the outside of this. And then now for the ultimate skills. So I'm going to use another for I loop. So I'm going to say for I2, V2 in pairs. And this time I'm going to say ultimate characters, get children. Please make sure not to get these two confused. So I'm going to make another variable, local ultimate skills is equal to v2 get children. You guys should be able to tell that it's literally the same thing. So I'm going to paste this. I'm going to Control C and then Control V. I'm going to paste this, right? And pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change a couple things. So instead of sorry, that's the same. So instead of I'm not gonna lie, sorry. So instead of skills, it's gonna be ultimate skills, right? So literally just replace all the skills with ultimate skills, but of course leave skills list, and then we're getting the names and inserting them into the table. And boom, just like that. I have great news for you guys. We have one more function left to go, and then after we're on to the server script. So we're making it. Okay, on to the last function. This is using the user input service. This is how we will trigger the abilities, as well as we will trigger our ultimate. So I'm gonna say uis.input began connect function in parentheses. I'm gonna put input comma processed and enter, and I'm gonna say if input.user input type is equal to enum.user input type.keyboard and processed equals false, which means the player is not typing in chat, they're actually pressing the key. Then I'm gonna run through another check. I'm gonna say if input.keycode, sorry guys, if input.keycode is equal to enum.keycode dot, right? And then I'm gonna have ors, because remember, you want to put as much as your game has. Like if you have, it depends on the abilities you have, the amount of abilities you have. If your game has 2 abilities, then you would just need to do input.keycode equals enum.keycode.1, or then 2. If you have 3, then 3. If you have 4, then 4. And then I'm just gonna do all of them just so I can demonstrate it for you guys. Right, and then press enter. I did the then. So pretty much I'm gonna change this to 2. 3. This should give you guys an idea of what you would do if you have, 3 or more abilities, right? So after we run through all those checks, we are then going to make a variable for the player's character. I'm going to say local character is equal to player.character, right? Then I'm going to use a for I being pairs loop, right? I'm going to say for I comma v, for I comma v in pairs character get children, right? Then enter. I'm going to say if table dot find skills list, say comma v dot name. Then I'm going to fire the mode event. So character handler event, fire server, and then quotation marks, you're going to put skill because we're trying to use one of the skills. Then I'm going to send over the current class, and I'm also going to send over the name of the skill. I'm sending over the type of event, which is skill, the name of the class the player is using, as well as the name of the ability they're using or skill that they're using, right? And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use an else if statement. So I'm going to go, how do I explain this? I'm going to go right here, right? Yeah, go right here. And then I'm going to put a space out right here. And I'm going to say else if input dot keycode is equal to enum dot keycode dot g. Because if you don't know in the strongest battleground, well, I mean, I'd assume you have to know, because why else would you be here watching this video? But the key code to activate your ultimate skill set is G in the strongest battlegrounds. So that's what I'm gonna go with. But you guys can change it, of course. I'm gonna go with G. And then we gotta make 2 variables in an if statement. So one, I'm gonna get the current bar and the max bar. I'm doing this to save time. So local current bar is equal to player.player gy dot character selector gy dot frame. Where's the frame? Dot, oh yeah, drop down. Dot, oh sorry, drop down button, then drop down frame, right? And then I'm going to get the current, and I'm going to get the current text label. I mean, sorry, not the text label. I'm going to get the I did this wrong. I did this so wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So you're gonna just get the GY, then do ultimate current, and then you're also gonna get local full. So or max. Say full bar. So full bar, and then you could just copy and paste this. Save time. And then instead of current, you're gonna put full. So make sure you set these correctly. Make sure current is current and full is full. Just make sure that. Then you're gonna use an if statement. So I'm gonna say if player dot character dot humanoid dot health is greater than 0, and current bar, not current class, current bar dot size is equal to max or full bar dot size. Pretty much means you've maxed out your bar pretty much. Then I'm gonna fire their mode event because these are the checks. I'm gonna fire the event. So fire server. I'm gonna send over the ultimate, and then I'm gonna send over the ultimate argument so that they know the event type, and I'm gonna also send over my current class. So they know which abilities, so the script knows which abilities to give my player. And just like that, guys, we are done with the local side or the client side scripting. So we're done with the local script. You guys are done. Now onto the server side script. Okay, let's insert a server script into server script service, and you guys can name this character selector script. Character selector script, and then you can delete print hello world. And then we have quite a bit to type, not gonna lie. So I'm going to make just 4 variables, or actually 5. So first I'm going to get the remote event, right? I'm gonna say local character handler event is equal to game replicated storage wait for child character handler event. Then I'm gonna get the sound service local ss is equal to game get service sound service. Then I'm going to get the characters folder, so local characters is equal to game replicated storage wait for child characters. Then I'm also going to get the ultimate characters folder, so ultimate characters equal to game replicated storage wait for child ultimate characters. You could just really copy and paste some of that from the local script. Yeah, and then I'm going to set up a table for the players who can deal damage. I also added damage to the ultimates, or well, generally all the attacks. So local players who can damage is equal to special brackets. Then I'm going to set up two local functions. First will be the animation player, so local function, animation player, and in parentheses you're going to put character, animation, and sound, and enter. And none of this will autofill, so make sure you pay attention. So first set up the animation track. So local animation track is equal to character dot humanoid load animation. You put animation inside, and then of course I'm going to play the animation track, and I'm also going to play the sound. So animation track play, and then ss dot, or sorry, not ss. Then you're gonna do sound play, right? Then I'm going to insert the player's name into the table so that I know that they're able to deal damage. So I'm going to say table dot insert players who can damage, then character dot name, and then I'm going to have a function for when the animation track ends. So animation track dot ended connect function close parentheses enter, and then I will remove their name if I can still find the name. So if table dot find players who can damage character dot name, or wait, sorry, table dot find, oh actually no, that is right, character dot name. So if we can find the player's name in the table, then do table remove players who can damage comma, and then you could just copy and paste this. So control C, then control V. Then I'm going to remove their name from the table, and that's one local function down. Onto the second one, which will take literally a second. I'm going to set up the damage handler. So I'm going to do local function is damage handler. In parentheses, you're going to put character to damage. And that's it. Then you're going to press enter, and you're going to say character to damage dot humanoid dot health is less than equal to 10, and you would put your damage value there. I'm going with 10. You can go with anything else, though, up to you. Now onto the long scripting. That'll take a while, but it'll go by quick. So I'm going to set up the remote event for the on-server event portion. So I'm going to say character handler event dot on-server event connect function in parentheses. I'm going to put the PLR, which is short for the player, the event type, so I can differentiate between what do I need to do, then the class name, as well as the skill name for whenever I send that. Then press enter. First things first, I'm going to get the player's character, of course. So local character, because I'll definitely need that for probably all of these. So for the first event, I'm going to set up the class selector. So if event type is equal to class selector, enter. All right. Then I'm going to run some checks. First, I'm going to make sure the player is at full health, because we don't want the player trying to switch to another character if they're not already full. So character dot humanoid dot health is equal to character dot humanoid dot max health. This makes sure that they are at full health. Then I'm going to save the position the player is currently in so that they will, well, actually, oh wait, no, tripping. I forgot I changed that before. I forgot I changed that. Never mind, ignore what I said. So moving on, I'm going to reload the player's character. So I'm going to say player load character. It's going to reload the player's character or refresh it or whatever you want to call it. Then I'm going to use a for every and pairs loop to decide where they're going to spawn at on top of one, where they're going to spawn at, two, the abilities they're going to have. So I'm going to say for I comma v in pairs. I'm going to say game.workspace get children, right? And then I'm going to get all of the spawns. I'm going to say if v.name is equal to spawn location. This is what comes into play, what I told you guys at the beginning of the video. So, okay, so here to clear this up. Say if all of your spawns are in a folder, you would do game.workspace.spawns get children, right? And stuff. I'm the only reason I'm able to do if v.name equals spawn is because I just have all of my spawns here, right? So simply if v, or sorry, not v.name, I'm sorry guys, not if v.name, if v is a spawn location. I'm sorry. V is a spawn location, right? So then I'm going to get a number. So local number is equal to math.random, then 1. For here, for 4, you would put the number of total spawns you have. I just went with 4, but you guys can have more or less. And then I'm going to decide on the spawn for the player. So I'm going to say if v.name is equal to spawn location number. Here's where it comes into play, like the naming and stuff. So make sure you do spawn location followed by the number. So if it's equal to that number, it'll move that player to that position. So player dot character move 2, and then I'll do v dot position. So it'll move that player to that spawn point. Then I'll skip about 3 ends, and I'll use another for every pairs loop to give the player their skills back. Or not back, but give the player their skills, whatever class they chose or character. Before I comma v2 in pairs, I'm gonna say characters get children, then enter. Then I'm gonna say if v.name is equal to class name, then I'm gonna get the character skills. So local skills is equal to v get children. Then I'm gonna clone all them over. So then we use a for I loop. I'm gonna say for I is equal to 1 comma number of skills comma 1 do skills regular brackets I, and I'm gonna say clone a parented of course to the player's backpack is equal to player dot backpack, and then I'm also going to set the player's bar to 0. I'm gonna reset the progress because obviously you wouldn't want a player to like max out the bar, then switch to another character, and then just have and then be able to switch up to their ultimate skill set. I'm going to make a variable for the bar, so local bar is equal to player dot player GY dot character select your GY dot ultimate, and make sure you do current, not full current, and then set the size. So bar dot size is equal to udm2 dot new. I'm going to say 0 comma 0 0 and bar dot size dot y dot offset. Make sure you positioned make sure you did the properties exactly as I did it, because if you didn't and you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna be very confused. So just probably best you just follow along. It's exactly as I did. Great news, that's 1 event down. We have about 4 more to go. That's 1 event. The great thing is though, guys, is that we can copy and paste. The more we go on, we can copy and paste stuff. So it'll save us time. So on to I want to say honestly, this is probably not gonna lie, this is actually the majority. This is the majority of the script. Okay, now on to the infamous skill event. So else if event type is equal to skill, enter, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a for I v in pairs. I'm going to say for I comma v in pairs. I'm going to get the characters folder. Oh, sorry, not character. Make sure you do characters, not character. Characters get children. Do if v.name is equal to class name and v find first child skill name, right? Enter, and then I'm going to set up the animation and sound variables. So local animation is equal to v find first child skill name dot animation, and here's where naming everything exactly the same comes into play. So make sure you just name them all animation and sound. Then local sound is of course the same thing, v find first child skill name, and then dot sound, right? And then I'm going to trigger the animation player function. So animation player, and I'm going to send over the player's character, the animation, and the sound. And just like that, almost done. Then I'm going to set up another for I v in pairs. I need honestly 4 of them. This is the second one. So for I2 v2 in pairs. And this time I'm going to get the player's character, not characters, character. This is the player's character, not the character folder. I'm going to say get children. This is setting up the damage function. So I'm going to say if v2.name is equal, and I've made this so that it should work with R6 and R15. So regardless of what the player's using, it should be able to detect. I'm going to say if it's equal to left hand or v2 v2.name is equal to right hand or v2.name is equal to left arm, or v2.name is equal to right arm, right? So it's for R6 and R5. Now obviously like for things like kicks and stuff, you would probably have to add like leg and stuff, like right leg, left leg, all that stuff. Yeah, and then I'm gonna do v2 dot touched connect function in parentheses put hit, and then you're going to pretty much say if hit dot, oh sorry, not me do that. If hit dot parent find first child, find a humanoid, we know it's a player or at least an NPC. So find a humanoid, and we need to make sure that the player currently damage other players. So table dot find players who can damage, player dot name, and make sure that hit dot parent dot humanoid that health is greater than 0, because obviously we wouldn't want a person to be able to damage a dead player. That just wouldn't make sense. And plus it would also fill up the ultimate bar, so they could kind of abuse that to be dealing damage to a player who can't even defend themselves because they're dead and waiting to respawn. Then I'm going to do table.remove. I'm just going to go find this somewhere, and yeah, right here. Control C, and I'm just paste this. We're going to do a lot of copying and pasting to save everybody some time. So I'm going to paste this right here. I'm going to then trigger the damage handler function. So I'm going to say damage handler, and all I'm sending over is hit dot parent. Then after that, I'm going to make a variable for the current bar. So I'm going to say local bar. Actually, I'm gonna make it for both. Local current bar is equal to player dot player GUI dot character selector GUI dot current text label. Then local full bar is equal to the same thing. Just the only difference is this is the full text label. Then I'm gonna use an if statement. So I'm gonna say if bar that size that x that offset, because that is what I'm using offset. Like I said, make sure you just did everything exactly as I did it, because I think this will not work if you do things a little differently. Is greater than or equal to player dot player GUI dot character selector GUI, or sorry, we don't need to do all that. All I need to do is just do full bar. So full bar dot size dot x dot, I don't know why I keep accidentally pressing enter dot offset. Pretty much, that's how I know that the bar is full. So if the bar is full, pretty much, then I don't want, like, if it's greater than or equal to the bar, then I don't want to do anything. But if it's not full, I want to add to the bar, right? So I'm gonna put an else, then you could just leave that button. There's nothing there. Then I'm going to increase the bar size. So bar, so you can say current bar dot size is equal to udn2 dot new 0. And here's what I meant by I suggest you guys do zeros, right? So current bar dot size dot x dot offset is plus 10. I'm gonna add 10 each time a player lands a hit. So 0, and then bar dot size dot y dot offset, because I'm not changing the y value. I'm only changing the x value, right? And then I'm going to skip quite a couple of ends, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna skip here, and I think about like right here should be, yeah, like right here should be good. And I'm gonna say else. This pretty much is for right here. So this is for the ultimates. I have to set up another one because this was the one for the ultimates, right? So I'm going to say else. If I'm gonna set up another for I loop, so I'm gonna say for I3 v3 in pairs. I'm gonna say ultimate characters get children, enter, do if v3.name, just like before. If v3.name is equal to class name and v3 find first child skill name, then set up the animations, the sounds, all that great stuff. So like I said before, the great thing is we can copy and paste. So I'm going to open this back up. I'm going to open this one back up, and then you can just copy and paste all of this. Actually, just do this. Like, I would recommend doing it like this. So do if, and then paste, and then what you want to do is pretty much, you want to just paste it like this, like paste over that, right? But delete this else. Make sure you delete the else. All right. And then now I'm just going to simply change, it, right? Oh, let me delete that. Now I'm going to change some things. So change this to 3. Make sure you match everything up. So 3 ultimate characters, skill name, v3 skill name, and then should be good there. Then for this, we're using 4i v impairs, and we're gonna do 4 this time. I know it's a lot, but yeah. So before I get into that, let me just go ahead and delete the part I don't need. So I don't need this. I don't need this part anymore. This is pretty much that part I just deleted is the part that increases the bar size. You don't need that because if you're using ultimate abilities, you wouldn't want to increase your ultimate bar at all, right? The way it works is you'll have your ultimate abilities and be able to use them until you die. So yeah, I'm going to then change these to 4. So v4, so literally just change everything to 4, and then from there you should be good to go. So 4 and 4, and then yeah, just like that. Just that we're not done yet, but we're almost done, guys. I promise we're almost done. That was the longest event. And honestly, we just got the died and then the ultimate left the script. So then I'm going to go right here. I'm going to put enter, press enter, then do else if event type is equal to ultimate. And now we'll set up the ultimate. All right. This is for when you're activating your ultimate. Or actually, no, let me do the died first. Yeah, let's set up died first. This is what happens when the player dies, so that we can give the skills back. Very simple. So for I, comma v in pairs, I'm gonna do characters, do get children, enter, I'm gonna do if v dot name is equal to class name, then I'm gonna get the skills. So I'm gonna say local skills is equal to v get children. And then I'm gonna use a for I loop for I is equal to 1, comma number of skills, comma 1. Let's do skills regular brackets I. Then I'm gonna clone it. So we'll do clone dot parent is equal to player dot backpack. Very similar to what we already did before. Then I'm going to make a variable for the current bar, just the current bar though. So local current bar, because I'm going to set it back to what's it called? I'm going to set it back to 0. Yeah, to 0. So player dot wait. Don't want to. Yeah, I'll set it back to 0. Well, it's up to you guys honestly, but for the video, I'll just do that. So I'm going to do player GY character select GY dot current. And I'm going to do current bar dot size is equal to udm2 dot new 0 0 and bar dot size dot y dot offset. If you guys don't want to reset the ultimate bar, like the progress the player has made, then you can just delete this. You can just delete this part right here. You don't need to include this. But if you do, then leave that. Then on to the last thing, ultimate, right? Like I said, we're almost at this. This is the last thing. So else if event type is equal to ultimate, enter. And we are going to, of course, this is one thing that one of my subscribers pointed out to me when I was live. I'm going to say character dot humanoid dot health is equal to character dot humanoid max health. I'm pretty much giving them full health because, well, if they activate when they're on 1, obviously we just wouldn't want them to just just die. Then I'm going to use about 4 IV impairs, but I'm just going to keep it all simple and stuff. It's honestly extremely simple. So for I, comma v impairs player dot backpack. I'm going to get the backpack's children. I'm going to say, then actually no, I can just destroy everything because they're tools. So v destroy. Then the great thing, we can copy and paste. So paste that, and then this time you're going to want to do player dot character get children. Then enter, you're going to use an if statement. So if v is a tool, then just put end right there, right? Then we're down to just two more for IV pairs loops that we need. Actually, I thought. I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. There we go. So yeah, like right there. Okay. So then on to the next one. This will copy over the ultimate character skills, right? This will copy over the ultimate character skills. So I'm gonna do for I, comma v in pairs. I'm going to say ultimate characters get children. Do if v dot name is equal to class name. Then you guys are in a drill. I'm just going to go and copy and paste this. So I'm going to say skills equal to v children. So I'm going to just copy and paste that, control V. And then that should really... And then of course I'm going to set the bar back to 0, right? And then, yeah, that is almost it. One more for IV in pairs loop we need. Just one more, right? So after you've done that, then I'm going to trigger the animation player. So I'm going to say for IV in pairs, I'm going to say ultimate characters, get children again. Do if v dot name is equal to class name. Then I'm going to trigger the animation player, and this is going to play the awakening animation. So character v dot awakening animation. Make sure you spelled it just like I spelled it. Awakening sound. Okay, guys, that should be it. Jeez, I think it's been like an hour. Not gonna lie. If you guys want access to the scripts and models, you guys can become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. If you have any questions about that, just leave a comment down below and I'll help you figure that out. Okay, so first things first, let me select the character. Okay, as you guys can see, it has spawned me at one of the random spawn points, and I have the abilities, right? I have the abilities and everything. The UI disappeared. Everything's working great so far. So I'm gonna need multiple rigs because I need to deal damage to like multiple alive people. So I'm gonna just control D spam to duplicate, right? And then I'm going to build up my ultimate bar. So if I just spam the abilities, you guys can see the bar is moving every time. The bar should be moving up every time you're making contact or an attack. You know, you're making contact, and boom, you see the bar won't fill up anymore, right? So then when the bar is filled, when I press the G key, here's what's happening. Press the G key, boom, there you go. Animation plays, sound effect plays, and the bar resets back. And I have my new attacks. And here's the difference. So when I attack players, you guys see the bar won't move now, right? The bar will not move now, right? But I'll still be able to, of course, deal damage and stuff. Then if I die, I get the regular abilities back. Because obviously you just want them, you should only have it just while you're alive. And then when you die, you don't get them back. That's to make ultimate bar. Like I said before, if you guys want access to this stuff, you guys can purchase a channel membership or purchase a Discord subscription. Doesn't really matter. What's it called? If you guys need help, with anything, you guys can. Oh, sorry about that. But anyway, if you guys need help with anything, just join the Discord server. Link is in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.